Hello, this is Andrew Arcana. I am looking at the Stokes Gothic Oracle, and at this point, this is take 6. The good news is I should ramble a lot less because I kind of want to get this done. The one thing, I'm just going to start here. What caught my eye, especially in the US Games and Amazon listing, was this foil box. I was kind of hoping some of the artwork would reflect that, but the artwork is beautiful. There is no foil artwork, but can't win them all. I'm going to start. One thing I don't know that I've really done a lot of outside of a Push Kitty deck is the box itself. Open. It's just red and black on the interior of the front. The book has color photos. Maybe one with color would be better. There we go. And this rose metallic gilding on the edge. The inside of the box, pure red here, but very appropriate. Artwork by, or the book by Stephen Bright. Brilliant, brilliant book. It's very concise, but it's also very descriptive of each card. The cards also have this incredible gilding. You can see I have shuffled them a bit. You can also see I am comfortable with my roots on the slight outside of the 90s goth culture. So, deep breath. This is take 6 because last time I was recording audio off of a very noisy audio source. And I've had lighting issues, and I really want to show how rich these cards are. So this is the Angel Rose. The Arachniferia is what I expected in the artwork from a more contemporary goth style deck. Very reminiscent, as well as Await the Night, of what I would expect from the days of HTML-based chat rooms, GeoCities, message boards, the Palace chat, if you were there for that. This is all... A lot of this is very reminiscent to me of late 90s and maybe the very beginning of early 2000s goth, before emo kind of became the new thing to do. I'm going to pause for just a second. On that note, one of my favorite goth music live streams just started, and I want to go catch a bit of that. So, Await the Night. This, again, that kind of artwork. This, Awaken Your Magic, is where I first started to see some media influences that seemed a little bit outside what the name Gothic Oracle might promise. That is reminiscent of perhaps something a little more modern in pop culture. Beyond the Veil, just visually, is one of my favorite cards because you can kind of make that out, the yin and yang, the alive and not alive figures there. I am holding these at an angle. I'm kind of sitting. I have my laptop here and the camera going off of there over this way. So I'm at an angle. Just Beyond the Veil is the first of several cards featuring a younger woman and a unicorn. A lot of unicorns in the Gothic Oracle, they don't land with me. Beautifully painted, and every unicorn has the glow coming off of its horn. Blood Moon. I really wish the book had talked more about all of these birds here in this jet stream, but it's really, really incredible art. Blue Moon, another woman with a unicorn and lights. Dance with Death was one of two that led me on a single tangent, which were in edgier times I'd read Terry Goodkind's Sword of Truth series, and Goodkind spoke of the Dance with Death as something we do with every decision. Are we serving our life, or are we letting outside forces make decisions for us? And the book had some moments where it said, don't take any stupid risks. I'm paraphrasing, but if you see the smaller risk, go ahead and take it, because you do need to do things to make the most of your life. Everything about this card was more of what I'd hoped to see in the deck. The Dragon Beauty, a lot of dragons, a lot of mythological creatures, but this one works the dragon on the small purple rose. The Dragon Trainer. Again, I think there's a pop culture influence that this incredible, beautiful art may have been better served on a different project. Um, Enchantment, this is very, very sort of 90s goth. If you went to someone's GeoCities page, HTML chat rooms, you saw a lot of user avatars that looked like this, but this is absolutely gorgeous and beautiful and very well done. All right, Eternal Bond is this time 2 unicorns. Fantasy Forest. I can kind of get into this one. It does look as though she's riding this animal. We have the points of light coming off of every horn this time. I am reminded more of Denise Linn's, I believe, Enchanted Forest. I should pause again and look that up, but Denise Linn did an incredible fantasy-themed Oracle deck that I just cannot speak highly enough of, and I'm not really an Oracle person. Fierce Loyalty, we have a woman with 2 dragons. Feels slightly out of place. Fire Dragon, beautiful card, amazing. This feels like it's better suited for fantasy role playing or a different project yet again. I love that there are a lot. I think there are 44 cards in this set. It's so I'm torn basically, but Forever Yours. This is what I wanted out of this deck. They are committed, and hopefully we all have somebody who's that committed to us and good for us. I hope you have that person too. If not, I hope they're on their way. Gothic Prayer. This one is one of my favorites. It seems so simple, but the book kind of pointed out to me. I'm going to try to zoom in on the face here. On the eye to the left, you can see a sort of bloody tear. On the eye to our right is a normal human watery tear. And actually, the book speaks about hope in regards to this card. I am so happy to see that small detail in here. The Hidden Depths. This, again, if you got into things like World of Darkness, there were places where something like this would be appropriate in their Gothic punk setting. Definitely would have seen something like this on an edgier GeoCities page yet again, so I'm not. Immortal Flight is just incredible in a certain sense of the word Gothic. And I love that this lighting setup just shows how rich these colors are. I normally process the video a little bit, put some cinematic flair on it. I'm not doing that this time. I want these colors to stand for themselves. Inner Strength, absolutely beautiful, kind of stands out a bit. But Lifeblood goes right back into everything you want from a deck calling itself Gothic. Like everything, just about, except a vampire. You know, while I'm wearing a sleeveless shirt, this is intended to be a vampire on my right arm. Light the Darkness, this is one of the reasons I wanted to really make sure the lighting was good, because that pentacle near the bottom was showing up as a silver glow. Like, just the last lighting rig was not okay. Again, now this one I'm also going to give some praise to, because this sort of fits every possible idea of Gothic, from old Gothic horror novels to it's a little bit of goth, the flowing clothes, and it may not be a perfect example of any of them, but it just seems to really well combine all of it. Uh, Unless we're going to go all the way back to architecture or sacking the Romans. Lost Soul. This goes back to a lot of goth art and imagery. Really good one. Medusa. I gained so much respect for this deck, and Stephen Bright. Let me make sure I get his name. Yes, Stephen Bright. Um, for putting such an well-researched passage in the book. A little bit of a content warning. If you're familiar with Greek and Roman myths, you kind of get the feeling of um, boundaries being, yeah. But in essence, Medusa was not born a Gorgon. She was punished with this appearance, but there were in mythology creatures born that way called the Gorgons. Or, um, that's the problem with reading and not taking classes is you hope you're saying it right. Moonstone, I always look for the rabbit in the moon, and it's hard to tell because the dragon covers up so much of it. This does have that sort of dark fantasy vibes. The colors are kind of in line. Moon Witch. Now, this one reminds me of a boss I had who was a brilliant graphic designer. And the project we were working on, he told me to carry a journal with me, which I kind of do these days. He said, draw runes, draw shapes and lines and circles and combinations, and just draw them idly, so you're not thinking about anything. And then use your best runes for works of fantasy art or different creative projects. And as I look at these runes, I wonder if these were something similar, because the runes on this card don't strike me as familiar to anything that I would know from other systems here in our real world. Runes are a weak point of uh, of my knowledge, but that is still amazing, and it still tells the story of the card, possibly even more respectfully if those are creations of the artist fantasy. North Star is another woman with a unicorn. If you're into this, the one that Denise Lynn did is just incredible. I don't know how many unicorns this Gothic deck needed. I am sorry, 'cause there's not every single card in this deck is beautiful. Like, the quality of artwork here is you should be setting the bar for everyone. Um, so if some don't land with me, it doesn't mean I dislike them. Just not landing with me. So that's subjective and personal, and I might say something, you might love the card and think that's the one you want in the deck. Only Love Remains. This is just the work and all the lace and everything. The Owl Messenger. The Phoenix Rising works because of the person behind the Phoenix. I think this one absolutely has a place in the Gothic Oracle. Power of Three again looks more like fantasy role-playing art, but I do like the small detail here of this symbol on the ground and the trio of wolves. Um, Straight into Prayer for the Fallen, which I think works, just absolutely works. The Raven, again, these rich, amazing colors, the thematic nature of the card, that one works. The Rose Fairy, we're going back to my HTML chat rooms in the late 90s. It works. Sailor's Ruin. Now, this one, a little bit, it takes more than purple and a skull to be gothic, but I also think that the features on the mermaid's face also really help sell this one. The Serpent Spell, which is another Gorgon style creature. Again, that color scheme that sells it. The Silverback of an angel with a dragon. Now, I think that combination of the dragon with the implied innocence of the angel does speak to my generation of Molgoths. The Soul Bond, which again um, looks more like a fantasy role-playing game idea, but then straight into Summon the Reaper, the Woman with the Hourglass, the Reaper, the Gray Skies. This is the promise of Gothic Oracle, and the Blessing, also the promise of the Gothic Oracle right here. The Truth. If Dance with Death reminded me of Terry Goodkind's Sword of Truth and Legend of the Seeker TV show, this one, the write-up by Stephen Bright, very, very in line with anything in that book. The the sword as a I'm gonna get the book. I'm gonna get Stephen Bright's exact words on this one. Um, Summoning the truth. Yes. The weapon is a symbol of truth. And further down, if you have drawn this card, then you know what it is you must do. If you've read those books, those two passages are very familiar. But there is also more about discerning truth from what isn't true. The wish, which is yet one more individual with a unicorn. I think most everything here I'm going to love. The summoning, I do remember on take one about 10 days ago. I really loved what the book had to say, and I wish I remembered. This one did work for me. Trick or Treat, for as much as I may have said some things about the unicorn, this card puzzled me the most. Because the jack-o'-lantern is a little more contemporary than most of the deck. The jack-o'-lantern with a dragon in a Gothic deck really kind of puzzled me. It thematically, I think this one on my first pass through really stood out as the perhaps the one that went furthest from the theme. But then we get into Valor, which is just, again, we're right back to what the box art and the name promised, and Wheel of the Year, which I'm going to praise because I'll pull the card up and do that thing in a second. But you see the sort of symbols of the year from the egg, the flower in bloom, the harvest, the falling leaf, and the pumpkin as a cycle, as a wheel. I'll try to make that a little bit more evident. Egg, harvest, autumn. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause this. I'm going to shuffle it for the third time because this is take 6. And then I'm going to put this together with Tarot of the Vampires with a Y by Ian Daniels. I made the bag myself. This is the one that comes, it's a very Thoth-like deck. Thoth-like deck. It comes with the Phantasmagoria book, and it spells vampires with a Y because Llewellyn also just released a vampires with an I that's much more of a Rider-Waite-Smith clone. This one is just brilliant, and this bag, actually, the fangs glow in the dark, but I want to have good lighting. So I will be just a moment. Changed my mind. I'm going to try the spread near the beginning called the Dragon's Gift. Where you pull the Dragon's Beauty card out. I'm going to overlap a little bit so everything fits in frame. But card 1, Dragon's Beauty. Card 2, the element of air, mind, ideas, and communication. Card 3, the element of earth, body, finances, security. Card 4, element of water, love, relationships, emotions, feelings. And card 5, the element of fire, creativity, inspiration, drive, and that other drive. All right. Let's go back to 2, which was the element of air, mind, ideas, and communication, to which I get valor. I really don't know that I want to be doing this, but there's tension in the air, quarrels of non-physical warfare. So if somebody criticizes you, be brave and take it. All right, card 3, earth, the body, finances, and security is inner strength. I'm going to do this quickly too because I don't want this to be boring, or if it is, I want it to be the least amount of boring. The strength, this is a reminder of the strength that lies within you. If you're feeling less than confident or you need to confront something head on, this suggests that you have the courage to take on more than you believe you can. 4, which was water, feelings, relationships, awaken your magic. I might let that one speak for itself. And 5, fire, creativity, drive, sensuality, enchantment. Does somebody want to put a spell on me? It's been... Alright, oh! I should have read the books. As much as I love the art, there's a... I'm not doing a good job. There's a fairy circle at our feet. Again, more praise for the artwork. If you've drawn to this card, you're asked to think about how committed you are to something or someone. Make sure you know what your commitment will entail. Enchantment may be the reward. It may be more difficult to step out of the fairy ring than in. Well, that's yeah, there's some jokes I could make considering that position in the spread. I think I won't. So that's how that one works. I'm going to contrast that a bit to the last one I got. This was an effort, the Dark Light Oracle. Let me pull these aside. I have video proof of my spread. I don't need to document it this time. Actually, here's, I think I do this a lot, but one thing I do is to keep everything shuffled, I do not put them back in together. I put them in random spots of the deck where they're not touching each other. When I started reading, it would always drive me nuts. I'd see the same 2 or 3 cards show up all the time together, so I started doing this. That way, that counts as shuffling a part of the deck instead of having to shuffle them further. So let's go back to the Dark Light Oracle. I feel like this one is more my speed in as far as the messaging goes. That there are pros and cons to everything. The universe craves balance, and this deck really speaks to that balance. So I do kind of prefer this one as far as a gloomier Oracle deck. And again, let me get the cards out of this bag. I wonder what color I used. Oh, I should have been clever and used red fabric for the interior of this bag, but I used black. That's okay. The black probably helps the glow in the dark work better. But again, the Ian Daniels Tarot of the Vampires, which is a brilliant Thoth-like deck. Thoth, which is what I would normally... This might be my one Desert Island deck. I've had this one since 2010. It's that Llewellyn Lo Scarabeo cardstock that you can riffle shuffle on occasion, and it won't punish you for it. I've had this almost 13 years. It's still so good to me. The artwork in the Gothic Oracle is just amazing. I think it did a lot more to blow me away than the other Oracle deck I'm speaking of. It definitely paints a lot mental images, but on the occasion that I was going to supplement a card reading with, you know what? I'm looking at this again. It could have just been the matte versus gloss. These are incredible. It's just a really different style. So, if I were to supplement this, I'm probably going to use the other deck, but no regrets about having this. It is welcome in my collection. It might even sit with my readers for a very long while, and not go in the box where I put things that I bought. I'm glad I bought them, but I'm not using them. I'm going to leave this one out for a while and see how I feel about using it. And even if things didn't land with me, they're gorgeous. See, I'm at about 25 minutes. I'm going to call it here. Hope that everybody is having a great evening. Here's hoping we can all find our enchantment. finding our own, what was it? We all find our own forever yours. Especially, I'll probably be posting this somewhere near Valentine's Day. Sorry. And yeah, sending my best wishes to all of you. If you found something you liked in this, hopefully it's still new enough that it's easy to find. And have a wonderful evening.